Hi, I'm Amy Romeo and welcome to my Faux Falloween Crafting Event where I'm sharing a new faux leather fall or Halloween Cricut craft every day for 10 days. Today's project is these really cute vintage style motel keychains in a fall theme. These are often made with an acrylic base, but I will show you how to recreate the shape using faux leather and heat transfer vinyl. So I'll let you know how to get the SVG for this project in just a moment, but first let's go over the tools and materials we'll be using. I'll be using my Cricut Maker to cut my faux leather today. You can use any of the current Cricut machines, including the Explorer Air 2 or even the Cricut Joy, because they all cut faux leather using the standard fine point blade that came with your machine. The faux leather that I'm using is a solid, smooth surface faux leather, and I will leave links to all of these materials for you. It's important that your faux leather is smooth so that your heat transfer vinyl will stick nicely. The heat transfer vinyl that I'm using is some Caesar Easy Weed, but you can use any heat transfer vinyl or foil iron-on that you would like. To apply the heat transfer vinyl to the faux leather, I'll be using my Cricut Easy Press Mini. I love the small size. It's really easy to heat press small items like these, but you could use a larger heat press as well. You'll want to have a heat pressing pad and then some kind of a cover sheet. This is a Teflon sheet that I've just trimmed down to a smaller size, but you could use butcher paper or parchment paper. Now we'll be cutting the faux leather using the purple strong grip mat, and we'll also use some blue painter's tape. This is going to help us get really good cuts. You'll want some craft scissors on hand. I like some large craft scissors and also some detail scissors, which are great for trimming up any fuzzies on the edge of your faux leather after it cuts. We'll also need some glue. I'll be using some Beacon Fabri-Tac, but you could use any good fabric or craft glue. There's a special trick for getting a really nice tight edge and seam when you glue the front and the back of this keychain together, and I'll share that with you at the end of this video. You could use Bearly Art Glue as well. You'll just need to use a little more of it because I find this tends to absorb into the back of the faux leather, so you will need to apply a little extra. Finally, for the keyring, I'm just using a regular split ring keyring, and I'm using a 10mm jump ring. These are really pretty in a rose gold finish. I think those are great for fall, but you could use any color you'd like, and I'll link to my favorite assortment pack, which has this ring in all different kinds of metal finishes. To attach the hardware, I'm just using regular jewelry making pliers, 2 pair of flat nose pliers. Okay, so let's hop over into how to get the SVGs, and then we'll go to Design Space and I'll show you how to cut out the mats for this project. To get the SVG for this and all of the daily event projects, visit the event page at amyromeo.com/Falloween24 or click the link in the description. You'll also see the option to upgrade to the event VIP pass and get instant access to all of the daily event projects, bonus files, and more. Starting with a blank canvas in Cricut Design Space, you'll click on Upload and then Upload Image, and you'll browse to where the unzipped SVG file is for this project. Click on it to select it and click Open. You'll see a preview of the 3 keychain designs. Click Continue and then Upload. And the 3 designs will appear on your canvas. So the way these are constructed, the bottom layer of each of these is going to cut from faux leather. So you'll have a faux leather front and a faux leather back. And then you'll have 2 layers of heat transfer vinyl. One is for that outline shape and then one is for the inside decoration. We will press the heat transfer vinyl layers onto each of the faux leather sides, and then finally we will glue the faux leather sides together to create the keychain. So let me go ahead and ungroup these. I'm going to be making the sweater weather one today, so I'm going to delete the other 2. I already have samples of the other 2 that I can show you. So we'll delete those, and then let me just kind of drag these apart. So here we've got our little sweater weather. These layers are all connected, so the little leaf will cut with all the letters, and you won't be having to piece things together after you've cut and weeded your design. And then here's our little outline of that motel keychain style. So first thing I wanted to mention was, if you did not want to use sweater weather, you can use just the base of the faux leather keychain and the outline, and you can go ahead into Design Space and grab something else, another shape that you'd like to cut. So for example, a heart. We can just bring it down here, size it appropriately, get that where you want it to be. Then I recommend selecting all of your shapes and then clicking on a line and click center horizontally and also center vertically. Let's see, that puts that heart a little higher than I want it to be. So I'm just going to pop that back down where I want it to go. And then if you want to cut the whatever shape you put on the inside, if you want to cut that from a separate color of heat transfer vinyl, you can. If you wanted to cut this heart with the outline, have them cut together and they're all one color, then all you need to do is select your heart shape. I'm holding down my shift key on my laptop and I'm also selecting the white outline layer. And then all we're going to do is go down here and click attach. And that's going to connect them together. So now they're both the same color, and when you cut them out, they will cut together and they'll be easy to place. Okay, so let me go ahead and ungroup that. And we'll go back to our little sweater weather here. So the same is true if you wanted your sweater weather word to cut from the same heat transfer vinyl in the same color as your outline. You would just select your inside design, select that outside design at the same time, and then click attach. But I'm going to cut these with two separate colors as I've made the sample here. So all we need to do is click the Make It button. We're cutting our materials on a mat. And the first thing we want to do is go through and mirror each of our mats because faux leather and heat transfer vinyl cut in reverse. So here I'm going to just drag my little faux leather shapes. I'm dragging them away from the edges and also away from each other. We will be taping our little piece of faux leather down with blue painter's tape on all sides, so this gives me a little extra room for that. Also here, we don't want our little vinyl shapes to be so close to each other. That just makes it more difficult when you're trying to weed. So I'm just dragging these little shapes apart a little bit, and I'll do the same thing here. There we go. So I'm going to click back on my faux leather layer. I always like to cut that one first. Click continue. And for the faux leather mat, I'm going to use the faux leather paper thin setting with more pressure. If you don't have this setting bookmarked as a favorite like I do here, you can click on browse all materials and search for it. If you're using your Explore Air 2, you'll need to turn your dial to custom before you can find this setting when you search. Now the vinyl mats, I'll just use the corresponding setting to whatever material I'm using. So I'm using Caesar Easy Weed. I like the iron-on setting for that with default pressure. But if you were using foil iron-on, for example, or another type of iron-on or heat transfer vinyl, then you would choose that setting. Okay, let's hop back over to my overhead camera. We'll cut out our mats and I'll show you how easy it is to put together these motel keychains. So before I start cutting, I've trimmed my materials down to a size just slightly larger than the shapes that are going to cut. This is important for the faux leather because we don't want the piece to move while it's cutting, while the blade is cutting through. And two ways that we can prevent that is, the first is cutting our piece nice and small, and the second is taping the piece down with blue painter's tape. The combination of those two tips really help to keep this from moving while it's cutting, and that's going to result in a better cut. So I've trimmed my faux leather. I have my little heat transfer vinyl pieces ready to go. And I have that faux leather paper thin cut setting with more pressure ready as well. So I'm just going to put my faux leather pretty side down on a purple strong grit mat. Rub it well all over with your fingers, or you could use a brayer. And then I'm using some blue painter's tape. I have some little pieces that I've already used and I'm just going to reuse them, which is great. We'll just tape this down on all sides. Then we'll load this into the Cricut and begin the cut. So my faux leather shapes have cut, and before I unload the mat, I want to just use a sharp weeding tool, lift up the edge and see if the cut went all the way through. If it didn't, you can rerun the cut as many times as you need to just by pressing that cut button again. This happens a lot when you're cutting faux leather. If it doesn't cut the first time, don't worry. Just keep rerunning that cut until you see it go all the way through. But this cut looks pretty good, so I'm going to remove my shapes. And you'll want to pop out that little hole at the top. If the hole won't pop out all the way, like this one has a little thing stuck, that's what I use my little sharp curved scissors for. You could use embroidery scissors, something like that, just to trim off that little edge. Also, you can go around and just trim off any little fuzzies if you have some on the edges too. So now I'm going to cut out the 2 vinyl mats. So I've finished cutting and weeding the vinyl layers for this project. And then all I'm going to do is set up my little area here, and then I'll show you how to press these together, and then we'll glue them. So I'm all ready to press and glue the keychains together. I have my Easy Press Mini all warmed up on the low setting. That's that first green line. You could also use a regular Easy Press. I would set it to about 265 degrees to start. I have my vinyl layers cut apart from each other and ready to go. And I also have a heavy book, and this is going to be a really important step when we're gluing our keychains, but we'll get to that in just a moment. First, let's go ahead and press the vinyl layers onto our faux leather layers. So all I'm going to do is use that big cutout hole in the faux leather shape as my guide. I'm going to match that up with the vinyl layer. And then just make sure that there's a nice even, it's a very thin little border of the faux leather that shows through all around the vinyl. I'm going to use my small cover sheet here, my little piece of Teflon sheet. Again, you could use butcher paper or parchment paper. And I'm just going to press by applying heat all over for about 10 seconds. If you're using a regular Easy Press, you can just press it down. You don't need to move it around like I am. Now, one tip that I've learned with this design in particular is it's good to let the vinyl cool just a little bit before we try and peel. So I'm going to set this one aside underneath my heat pressing pad, and then I'm going to press this layer. Okay, so we'll just swap these out. This has had some time to cool. That gives the little detailed lines a little more time to really settle down onto the faux leather. So all I'm going to do is try and peel back this clear carrier sheet. If I see that any of the vinyl lifts up, I'm just going to place it right back down and press some more. But this looks pretty good. Pull, pull, pull. There we go. That looks good. And I think what I'll do is go ahead and press the next layer. Now you can do this either way. You can have the words facing this way where the hole's here, or you can have it go the other way. It's up to you. I think I'll go that way. There we go. That looks pretty good. So I'm just going to cover and press. And then we'll just go ahead and peel. And that looks really cute. So I'll pop this underneath my heat pressing pad. Since the whole thing now is warm, it's going to start to curl a little bit, and we want it to dry, to cool nice and flat. So we'll just peel this one. There we go. And let's see. Let me just double check myself here. So the words are there, so I want the words to go this way. And there we go, that looks good. So I'm just going to pop this underneath here for just a moment. We're going to get our little area ready here. So the hardware that I'm using a 10mm jump ring. I find that's a really good size. And then this is a split ring key ring. This is probably maybe a 20mm. I really like the 25 or the 20mm. It's about 1 inch size. And then it's nice to have your matching metal color jump ring. Now you could add a tassel or something like that to this project too if you wanted to. I like them just the way they are. Here's that little Hey Boo one. Close up, I think it's super cute, little cowboy ghost. Okay, so our little shapes here have cooled, and all we're going to do is turn them over. Again, I'm using Beacon Fabri-Tac. The back of faux leather really is just fabric, so I like to use a fabric glue or a good craft glue. Now all we're going to do is apply the glue to the back. We want to get close to the edge, but not all the way up to the edge, because some of that glue will seep naturally to the edge. Make sure you go around that little hole. If you get too much glue on, it's okay. Just wipe it up with your finger or a damp paper towel. What I like about this glue is it spreads nicely and evenly. It doesn't get clumpy. Something like hot glue or E6000 will make little lumps and bumps between your faux leather layers, and you don't want that. So I just put the glue on one side. All I'm going to do is match up my top shape. Just take a little time matching up those edges, matching up the circle. If you get any glue coming out of the side, that's okay. Again, just wipe it out. See, I have a little glue here. I'm just going to wipe it away. This glue is very forgiving. There we go. That looks really cute. So now I'm going to place this underneath my heavy book. You want to let it dry there for at least an hour. It's going to help it get really nice and firm, and you're going to get that really nice tight edge where it almost looks seamless. Now if you wanted to, if you don't like that little bit of white that you can see, you can use a color coordinated Sharpie marker and color all around the edge of your keychain. And then I'll go ahead and show you how to attach the jump ring and the key ring very quickly on this one while this one dries. I'm just using my jewelry making pliers. I'm opening up that jump ring, 10mm jump ring, thread it through the keychain, and then put on the key ring and close it right back up. So here's a look at all three of the designs again for this project. If you like this project and you wanted some Halloween designs, if you grab the event VIP pass for the Faux Falloween Crafting Event, I have 3 really cute Halloween motel keychain designs as bonuses for VIP pass holders. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Remember, to get this and all of the SVG files for the Faux Falloween Crafting Event, visit amyromeo.com/Falloween24. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.